Alright, this is chapter 4, part 2. We're picking up with a switch statement. The last thing we covered was the and, the or, the and, the or, and the not. Now we're moving on to switch statements. Switch statements are amazing. They're not quite so amazing in Java, but in other languages they're amazing. They're still good in here. They're very, very, very good. Okay. It says, when to use a switch statement? If you need to do one thing from a list of multiple possibilities. So, if I have a whole list of things to pick from, this would be a good option for it. Note that the switch statements can always be replaced with if, else, and if-else statements. I don't like if statements. I do use them in certain cases, but you can normally convert it to a switch statement. Now, if it's just one or two things, I can see an if and an else. But if I'm going to say, if grade is 90, or if grade is 80, or if grade is 70, or if grade is 60, that's crazy. Do a switch statement. Okay? Here is how they look like. It's the name switch, then some controlling expression. Now, this controlling expression does not evaluate to true or false. It does not. Okay? Basically, whatever the switch controlling expression evaluates to, the result of it matches up the case statements. So if the controlling expression result was a 1, in this case said 1 colon, it would match up that one. It jumps right down to the matching one, and we're going to see an example of this. And there's also a break between it. We're going to see what happens if you put the break and if you don't put the break. Okay? All right, how it works. It says, jump to the case that matches the controlling statement, or else jump to the default statement. You want to have a break in there, but if you don't, it will continue to execute each one, and I will show you an example of that. Okay? It says the break statement causes the jump after the switch. Okay? It says usually the break are at the end of every case, but not necessarily. Maybe you want to do multiple things, which I'll show you. Okay? Put a colon after the constant, and it says even though the constants are indented, you don't need the brackets, and I will show you what that means. Okay? The controlling expression has to either be an int, a char, a short, or a byte. It cannot be a string. It can't be a dog. It has to be an int, a char, a short, or a byte. That is a major downfall of this. I can't use a string, which would be nice if I could, but I can't. Okay? Okay, proper style says put / n switch after it. Okay? Now we're going to look at an example. Okay, I'm going to actually take his example and put it in my code so we can play with it. All right. Let me do that up here. Let's go over to that one. All right. I'm taking that, and I'm going to put it in my program right here. All right. I'm going to wipe out the free fries. Now, there was our free fry program. It's now gone. I know you're depressed. You all like the free fries. Okay. Again, I'm not going to worry about indenting this. Just to... All right. First line here says stdin next int. So it's going to get an integer and it's going to store it in I. But int wasn't declared. Yeah, I'll indent them, make them look pretty. All right. It's hard to read them if they don't look pretty. It just drives me crazy. All right. So I'm getting input for an integer. Y'all agree with that statement right there? Get an input for an integer. It's stored in I. Is that a good name?
No.
Not normally. I would probably want to go with something like my int or something. Just that are we talking igloos, idiots, what? I don't know. I tend to put my stuff, my string, my int, my don't. I got into that years ago. You don't need to do that. It's just something I do. Okay? Now I'm going to compile this to make sure it actually works. Thinking about it. Yes, it worked fine. So, all right. So I got input for an integer right here. Next integer, and I'm storing it in my int. Now I'm saying switch my int. So the controlling expression is my int. So in other words, whatever I enter right here, I'm going to do something with it. Then I have case 1, case 2, and case 3. So if I enter a 1 right here, the controlling expression is going to be a 1. It's going to jump right down here to case 1. It's going to print out A. Okay? If I enter a 2, it's going to jump right down here to case 2, It's going to print a B. Okay with that? But it's also going to print a CD. I'll show you why. Let me run this. I'm entering 1. Okay? We got A. Everybody see that? A. Here, let's put line there. Just so it's easier to see. I enter a 1, I get an A. Are we okay with that? Now if I enter a 2, let's put a 2 in there. I get B, C, D. Here's why. Oh, I hate that snapped or whatever the heck thing. If I enter a 2 up here at the top, it causes it to jump down to 2. But there's no break statement. The way a case works is it jumps to the case, then it processes every statement after it until it hits a break. So it's going to print B, it's going to print CD, then it hits a break. So it skips this other part. What if I take this break out? Now it's going to do B, CD, EZ.
Actually, isn't going to just keep looping and looping because there's no break at all.
Right.
No, it'll stop. You watch. I'll show you. Put 2 again. B, C, D, and EZ. What it did is I entered a 2, it got to the B. Because the switch is not a loop. A switch does one thing. So I enter a 2, it prints a B. Then it goes, there's no breaks, it goes right to the next line. This is case 3, 4, okay, fine. It's just a label. Okay? Then it goes down here, prints CD, then we have another label. Then we got EZ. So it prints B, CD, then EZ. Now let's put line there. Oops. Not semicolon. Alright, so what happens if I put this back in here? What happens if I put in the number 5? What do you think?
It should print EZ.
Just EZ? Let's see. If I enter a 5, I get EZ. So what happens was, I entered a 5, so it jumps right to the case. Well, there is no case for a 5, so it goes to default. Well, what if I take out the default? Well, and enter a 5 now. What do you think?
It'll probably just go press any key to continue.
Yeah, that's what I guess.
Doesn't do a darn thing. The nice thing about this, you know, with an if, an else if, and an else if. So if say I was doing, number, it has to check every value. Even once it matches, it still continue to check. This here jumps straight to it, which might not sound like a big deal. But imagine searching for something in your house. You know that saying, the last place you look is where you find it? Well, it makes sense because you found it, so you stop looking. But what if you didn't ever stop looking? So you're always looking for the car keys. When you find you keep on looking. You check every room in the house. That'd be stupid. You want to quit once you find them. So, all right, so let's put that back in here. All right, so I want to modify this. So if I enter a 2 or a 6, it only prints B. How can I do that? Anybody? I want a 2 or a 6, and only prints B.
Change the case, or to add in case 6. 6 colon.
Anything else?
You need to put a break.
And you put a break. Let's try it. Let's enter a 2. I get a B. Y'all see that? See that? Okay, good. Now let's try 6. I get a B. Well, I did it out of order. What if I enter a 3 now? Works fine. So it doesn't necessarily have to be in order, yet we usually put it in order. So this is a switch statement. Very, 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 very nice. Okay?
You're saying this is better than a if statement.
As long as you can use it for it. You can't always use it for it. Remember, this is an int, a char, a short, or a byte.
So for our homework, we wouldn't be able to use it because it's a string.
All right. Yeah, if you're working with a string, it ain't going to happen. Can't even use a double. And you cannot do a range with this one. In other languages, you could say like 1-5. You can't in this one. You can't. You can't put a range. Now I can put 1 and 5, or 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I just can't do 1-5. It ain't going to like it.
I have a question.
Whoa. Okay. For a second there, I'm like, what the heck? So it actually did the math. So to get A, I would have to enter -4.
Yeah.
I have to do -4. It did the math.
Okay, instead of doing case 2, case 6, case 3, can you do case 1, comma 2, comma 5?
You mean like
Instead of
this?
Instead of
Can you
having
do
it
that?
right
No.
every time.
Oh,
No? Okay.
got there.
Got it.
Exit code 1.
It's like, what the heck? And I have 4 errors just because of you. Jeez. All right, yeah, it doesn't like the comma. Then it's like, what the heck's that 6 doing there? What's that colon doing there? Yeah. It's funny. I had a guy submit a program this weekend to me for some help. And he had 1 error. So I fixed that 1 error. Brought it 57 new errors. And what happens is a lot of time people will put the error back in there. Whoa, I got to put it back in there because now it's getting worse. Well, not necessarily. What happened is the compiler, it hit his 1 error. And the error was so bad, it gave up. So the compiler does its best to go through your whole program. But sometimes it hits it and says, dude, you are so far gone, I don't even know what you're trying to do. So it quits. So when I fixed that first error for him, then it showed all the other 57 errors. But so many times people send me a program, hey, it's only got 1 error, but if I fix that 1 error, now I got a whole bunch more. Okay, we'll fix them. But don't just put that 1 error back in there. It's, so it's funny. But all right, everybody okay on this? How that works? Easy enough? All right. Lost the program. Where's our slides? There it is. All right. So if we enter a 1, what do we get? A. If we enter a 2, we get?
CD.
We get B, C, D. 1 is A. 2 is B, C, D. Remember, this is the one without the break in it. 3, we get
CD.
CD. 4, we get CD. 5, we get
Easy.
EZ. Easy enough. Easy enough. Yes, you get that? You like that?
Those are used for integers.
Int and char is really the only 2 we've used so far. You can also do short and byte. I keep mentioning things like short and byte. Short and byte are just, okay, an integer can hold how many? Anyone remember?
32 bits.
It's like 2 billion negative to 2 billion positive. What if I'm holding 5? Just 5. Do I really need to use an integer? I could. We do, always. But, it's kind of like, I'm going to store Ritz crackers, so I'm going to buy me a Tupperware container the size of my kitchen. Why would I want to do that? So, well, yeah, it would be cool. We'd have a lot of spare room, a lot of air. The crackers will be quite stale by the time we're done with them. But the point is you want to get something that's closer to the size. So you'd want to use a short, which is a lot short, or even a byte in that case. But I had a guy turn in a program today who set a value to 3,000. He declared a variable, set it to 3,000. And I'm like, why? He says, I set it to an unusually large number that will never, ever meet the criteria of the program. Which is true. His program will never get up to 3,000. But I told the guy, I left him a comment, I says, okay, here's the way you look at that. I wrote a mailing list program for a client of mine. The dude had, maybe a dozen or 2 dozen names. I said, how many names are you going to end up with? He goes, I might end up with 150. So I made it so it can handle 32,000. Does that sound correct? So the 150 names is all he'll ever need. So I gave him a variable that can hold 32,000. I figured I was safe. That lasted him a month. At the end of the month, he found out he could buy all these other mailing lists and combine them all together. Then the program crashed. I'm like, what do you mean? I just sold it to the guy. He's like, it died. I'm like, well, what it was, because he went over the 32,000. Then was out of range. So I had to rewrite the program to handle more than that. It happened to be written in VB, and the drop-down list, the normal selection list would only handle 32,000 entries in it. So I thought that was plenty, but it turns out that it's not. So,
Better safe than sorry.
right, but still, don't go excessively. Alright, so we know what that one does. Okay, write a program that reads in the zip code and uses the first digit to associate the geographical area. We're going to do this one. I like this one. Alright, so we want 0, 2, and 3. Here, let me copy the requirements in there so I don't have to type all those. We want, if I can get to the right slide, we want these are our requirements. Right there. So we're going to write this program real quick. Okay? So I'll put them up here. So that's our requirements, okay? Alright, so what do you think we should do? If I'm writing you a program, if you're the customer, you want a program that accepts a zip code, and based on the first digit, outputs certain values. Can I use anything we already have?
Yes. The cases.
Well, can I use this?
Yes.
Oh yeah, can I use this?
Yep.
Are you sure?
I'm saying no because you're acting like it's no.
You're saying no because I'm asking you that. I'm going to enter a zip code.
No, because you're, well,
If I'm going to enter 06070, which is where I came from, Connecticut, does an integer support a number a 0 at the beginning? What happens if I enter, like, okay, we're going to leave the program the way it is, and I'm going to enter 01, okay? 01. I get A. Because what did it do to the 0?
oh, well, it
It
chopped it off.
Yeah, because it's a non-significant digit. So would an integer be a good?
No.
No. So what's a better one? We have a choice. Int or char.
I'm going to go with care.
Well, but I'm going to enter an entire zip code. Obviously, it ain't going to work. So we're going to, since we only have a choice of int or char, should I go with char? No. No. That's a bad choice. Here's the ones I'm going to test it with. I'm going to test it with those two. Can I possibly get input for that as a character?
No.
No, I can't. They're too long. Character's 1. So what can I use?
Well, wouldn't you be able to do, well, if you did the char at,
Char at. Okay. For using char at, what variable would I use with char at? A string. So what do I got to change this to? Next line. So now I get input for a zip code as the string. Will that solve my issue of the 0? Sure it will. So then what does this switch have to have? Will that solve it? What do you think? Will this allow me to use the switch based on the 0 or the 7?
It's only
Yes.
pulling the first number.
Yes, it will. Because it's taking the string, my zip, and it's retrieving just the first character. And we know it can work with an int and a char. Since it returns just a character, we're good. So even though I'm using a string, I'm really only using a character. Everybody see that? All right. So now, case 0, 2, and 3 is east. Oops. So we're going to say east. East, 0, case 2, case 3. Sound good so far? Let's test it.
No, it's not going to work.
Why isn't it going to
Two
work?
cases, you have case 2 and case 2.
Well, let's see what it says. It says error. And the problem is if you read this, it says duplicate case label. Oh. So obviously this one matches that one. This one matches that one. So the compiler is smart enough to know, dummy, you're an idiot. So what's another option we need? 4 through 6. So we can change this one to 4. Can I put a range?
No.
No.
So case 5, case 6.
Sometimes the fingers just don't work right. And then 7. So we're going to make this guy into a 7.
Where do you see the keys?
Then we need a 8 through 9. 8. And actually, let me show you how you can do this a little different. If I can hit a 9, you can actually write them that way as well. They don't have to be on the same line. So it's east, central, south, west. So this is central. This is south. And this guy's going to be west. And the last one is invalid.
So you'd have to do, oh, you don't put a case value in there.
Right, I put default. Anything else?
Yeah, don't you need a break
Where do I need a break?
after south?
After south, okay. You weren't supposed to catch that, but it's okay. Anywhere else?
Yeah, that's good.
That's good? All right, let's run it. So far, so all right. So we're going to test it with a 0, 2, and 3. So 0, 6, 0, 7. Okay, first of all, anyone seen the problem with the program yet?
Well, it's not asking you what.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm going to enter strawberries. I mean, you're not telling me what to put in here. You're not asking for anything. You're just...
It's not strawberry.
Yes. Please, will be nice. Okay. Ah, there we go. Should get east.
Because it's only expecting one digit?
All right, let's see what we did. So we're using the first character. How can I troubleshoot my problem here?
Put 0, 0.
Well, based on what you entered, you're just gonna look at that.
Oh, no. Okay.
So what if I take this, since we know that's what we're using, and I do system.out.println and put that there, just so I can see what the result is. Will that help, you think? Let's see. So obviously, I did get the 0. Y'all see that? Y'all see that? So why ain't it working? You want to know the bad news? I don't know why it ain't working.
Well,
I can't see.
scroll down to the default one.
Does it think it's a string because the variable is a string?
No, because I'm converting this to a character.
Well, are you really converting it though?
Yeah, because I am doing a switch on the character. We can do that if you want. We can. Here, let's try that just to be safe. We can do this very easily. This better not fix it. If it does, I'm pretty stupid. Okay. Okay, didn't fix it. Lucky.
So, something about the case 0 is not recognizing
Yeah, and I don't...
it as being.
Alright, let's figure out what the problem is here. Should probably pause the recording so no one can hear what we're saying. But okay, so let's walk through this line by line. Okay, we're getting input. Obviously, we're outputting a 0. So we know we're getting a 0. They were saying switch on 0. And let's just make sure we can handle a character.
Does it think it's an integer? Do you need the single quotes around the case?
Shouldn't need to, because the char at returns an integer. No, char at returns a character, an int or char. All right, so we got that right. Let's find it.
For whatever reason, the case 0 command it's not recognizing it as.
Right, it's not recognizing this.
So it's recognizing everything else?
Yeah, let's try another one. Good point. Let's try 73020. Let's just try 7. Try 4.
Do you need another bracket down the bottom?
We shouldn't.
I think you may need a single quote around the 0.
Shouldn't need that. Oh. Okay. Yeah, here, you're right. We do need it there. I didn't even realize that. Good point, Mike. Sorry about that. forgot we converted this from an integer. These are all characters. So our input was a character. It's just that we weren't. We could have fixed it another way too, but we'll just do this. Good catch, Mike. Sorry about that. All right, let's try it now. Yay! South. What other one do you need to check? Let's try a 5. Central, good. So we know it's working. It's getting for whatever.
Strawberry.
Now it's. Let's do a 9. Let's try something else. What are we not getting? A 1. Good. Man, why did I not see that earlier? Jeez, I feel like an idiot. That's okay. That was good troubleshooting.
Single quotes around it.
Because this was being converted to a character, these were sitting here like this as integers.
Okay.
I hadn't gone in and changed these to characters as well.
So Java wouldn't point that out.
No, because it just thought I wanted to use integers. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. Because remember, the switch will work with int or char.
It was working correctly.
Right,
just-
right.
Exactly.
What was the other way to do it? Besides?
The other way to do it, we could have converted this to an integer with typecasting. But we would need to, hold on. We would have to figure out what to subtract. So we'd have to subtract 48. Now let's see if it works. What I did was I took the character, converted it to an integer. Okay? So remember the whole typecasting thing? So what I did was when I entered 06070, the first character is 0, but its integer value of 0 is 48. So I had to subtract 48 from it. See how I did that? Not a good way to fix it, but that would work. Okay. Because since this is a character, it's the character 0, not the numeric 0. Then we had to convert it. So, all right, are we okay with that? So the best option would be to put the stupid. If I remember, I think I forgot that last semester too. Probably forget it every semester.
I'll look. Let's see.
I probably did. I probably made an idiot out of myself then too. But okay. So enter zip code. Nice. Are we okay with that one? Let's see. Do we meet the requirements? Okay, note zip represents the entered zip value. Okay, yeah, I think we did that one good.
So if you wanted to continue with that program, could you do the second character or the, you know what I'm saying?
Yes. What you actually could have done,
I mean, it would be a long program.
right, I could actually, under this first case, I could do 06.
Right.
You actually have a switch inside of a switch. That's actually the way I wrote my compiler in Tulsa. I wrote it in Java, so I had a switch inside of a switch inside of a switch inside of a switch for each of the values. And that sucked. But now, if I remember right, actually I'm positive, there is a change to Java that does support strings now. Hold on. Let's find out. Let's find that. The switch statement, oh, that's from 2008. That won't have it. Hold on. We need a recent one. Java Doc should support it. What does it support now? Switch works with byte, short, char, and int. It also works with the enumerated types, the string class, and a few others. So it does work with it now. There's an int, there's a string, month string. That's not what we want. Let's see if there's an example of the string. Integer again. Integer again. Using the string. Here we go. Yeah, 'cause I just remember this was switched. Okay, this is month. Month is a what? Month is a string. We can do it now. Nice. Let's test it. So let's go with, let's just get rid of this part. And let's change this one to say, y'all agree that's a string? So if this works and I enter that zip code, it should print out east. Oh, it's because they're, oh, hold on. Whoops.
That's wrong.
Otherwise,
I'm having a hard time today. Don't no one watch this video and make fun of me.
Well, 8 people are already doing it now.
Yes, it works with strings now. Nice. Let's test it. Make sure it's really a string. It does work with strings now. Forgot that it's switch. I just heard about this the other day. So it does work with strings. Ah, it starts with Java SE7.
Which is what we got with the Java development
Yep.
kit.
That's what we got now. So I knew it was changed. So that's awesome. I'm thrilled now. So aren't you glad you all know that? So let's edit this slide now and say it does allow strings now. Okay. You know what I need to do? I need to put that on a test. Because someone's going to read the slides without watching the video and they'll never know. Wouldn't that be awesome?
one of those people who don't show.
All right, everybody okay with that? It does support strings now. Phew. So yes, it would work for what we needed. I'm good. That's a very, very, very big fix. Awesome. All right, let's move on. While loops. At the rate we're going, we'll be done about November. All right, while loops. Use a loop statement if you need to do the same thing repeatedly. So, we have a couple different types of loops. We have a while, a do while, and a for loop. Anyone know what my favorite is? For, very good.
You say for loop?
For, F-O-R. Okay.
I thought you said for.
For loops?
I thought you said for oop.
Oh, for loop. For oompa loompas. Okay, here we go. All right. The syntax for a while loop is while some condition and do something. In Java, it's while, condition in parentheses, then our statements inside of braces, or Hitchcocks. Okay? So while the condition has to evaluate to what?
Value of the,
This condition, can it be a string? What do you think?
it could be anything.
It can be as long as
It's
the...
you're comparing a variable. Or
Right, so, but it has to evaluate out to a true or false. So this loop will continue as long as the condition is true.
Well, okay.
Let's continue. Okay. Write a main method that finds the sum. The user enter integer when 999 is the set of value. Okay, that sounds good. Let's just copy it so not type it all. Alright, we're going to go to here. We're going to copy this baby. Whoops. Don't move that. Alright. Copy that. We're going to put it into our wonderful program here. We're going to kill our switch. Okay, we can get rid of all this since we no longer need that. Put it right there. Wow, that's terrible. See how that just doesn't look so nice? It's all kind of screwed up. Whoops. Alright, let's see what this does. Okay, obviously I kept that there, so that's our input. Then I'm declaring a variable called sum. I'm assigning it the value 0. Okay, sum of user enter value, so it's going to start off at nothing. Then I'm getting another integer x, a user entered value, so I'm going to get input for something. I'll put on the screen, enter an integer 9999 or negative 99999 to quit. It's too many nines. There. It's even easier. So negative 9 to quit. Okay? Let me get input for an integer. I'm going to store it in x. Again, that's not really a good variable name, but I'm going to use it. Then while x is not equal to a negative 9. So let's pretend I enter a 5. So let's say while 5 is not equal to a negative 9. Does that evaluate to true or false? While 5 is not equal to negative 9.
True.
It's true. So while 17 is not equal to negative 9. True statement. While 9 is not equal to while negative 9 is not equal to negative 9.
False.
False. Okay, so now we know it's going to continue as long as I don't enter at negative 9. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say sum. Oh, wow. This sucks. We should never write that. Help me rewrite this statement the correct way. Anybody?
Sum plus
Plus equal x.
Plus whoops, the other plus. Plus equal x. Ah, so much better. Isn't that so much prettier? So sum plus equals x is the same as sum equals sum plus x. Then I'm saying enter an integer, negative 999, whatever, to quit. Get input again. So I'm going to enter another number. It's going to go back up here, evaluate, add it to the sum. Enter another integer. Get input, evaluate it, add it to the sum. Okay, let's try it. So I'm going to enter a 5. Enter a 6. Enter a 9. So what's my answer so far?
True.
I mean, what's the sum? 20. Negative 9. The sum is 20. Nice. How can I modify this to show me the current sum?
Go system out print.
What if I want to add it here?
With that line you have,
Current value is,
parentheses or quotations plus sum.
how about that? Let's try that. 5, 6. Whoa. What happened there? Hold on, let's stop this thing. Stop! See if I screwed it up. 5.
Concatenating, it's not adding.
Oh, I didn't put a... Okay, that's why. Yeah, there you go. 6. 9. Yeah, it's working. It's just that I didn't put on the next line. Here, we'll fix that. Get rid of the B. That was the samba. 5, 6, 9, negative 9. It works. So it's pretty easy to modify these any way you want. Probably not the best way of doing it, but
We could always put the print the sum.
and then say get a number.
Right. Instead of
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like that. 5. Current value is 5. Enter an integer 6. It works. Yay. So the loop's going to continue as long as I do not equal negative 9. What if I wanted to get input for a number, which I'm going to do at the top, while x is greater than 0? So now watch this. Now my loop is going to, let's go x minus minus. And I'm going to output, I'm not going to get input anymore. Watch what happens here. See that? It just counted down until it got to 0. Everybody see that? So it's pretty simple to modify these. Like I can say, 5. That's going to go 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. What if I want to make it count by 2? Ever see that?
Could you put in a negative number?
Oh, I can. That's actually a very good question. What happened?
Well, the value is already less than 0, so it quits.
It's already less than 0. A while loop is called a pre-test loop. Okay? In other words, we're not entering negative anymore. It's a pre-test. In other words, what's the minimum number of times a while loop has to run?
At least once.
Okay, let's test that again. Okay, remember, if it runs, it's going to output the current value.
Oh, so 0.
So I enter 80. It worked. What if I enter -5? Never.
It won't run it.
So it's called a pre-test loop. In other words, it checks first. Think about it if you're going to get interest on a savings account. Would a while loop be a good type of loop? Yeah, because they wouldn't want to give you interest unless you got money. Can you imagine if they gave you interest first and then check to see if you have any money? I could see some serious problems with that. Here's some money. Oh, wait a minute, give it back. That probably wouldn't work out. So it's called a pre-test loop. So we test it first and then we do whatever. All right. A do loop. Yeah, all right. It says use a do loop if you want the repeating thing will always have to be done at least one time. This is what's called a post-test loop. It's the same basic condition except we put do and we put the while at the bottom. It says the condition is at the bottom of the loop in contrast where it's at the top. It requires a semicolon after the condition and putting the while part on the same line. All right, let's change this one up. Do, whoops, while, all right. Remember, our loop, we want to continue as long as we're greater than 0. It's working good. Whoa. Did we stop at greater than 0? No, we output a -1. Because what we're doing is we were doing it, printing it out, and then checking it. I'm giving you interest in your account, then seeing if you have any money. Whoops, you didn't have no money. Now they're going to have to figure out how to get it back from you. It's kind of like, here at Rose State, we get leave. But I only get leave if I work. If I'm an employee. Can you imagine if they gave out leave? Like, we get sick leave at the end of each month. What if you're a brand new employee and get sick leave even before you work? Probably wouldn't work out so well. You might like it, but it's not the way it works. You have to work, then you get paid. Okay? Everybody see the difference between the do and the do while, between the while and the do while? So the while is a pre-test, a do while is a post-test loop. All right. As part of the architecture design program, write a main method that prompts the user to enter length and width for each room in the proposed house so that the total flooring can be calculated for the entire house. After each length width entry, ask the user if he wants more rooms. Wow. That sounds like something we're not going to be doing tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a big one. I don't want to. It'll take a whole
That's
entire
actually
class.
very close to the assignment for the next program.
What's for?
Put it up today.
Oh, wasn't that
wait,
just the
I'm
speed?
Getting, I'm getting my programs mixed
Yeah,
up.
4 is
Never mind.
the other one.
That's
Okay.
another class.
Okay. Yeah, because there's actually a sample in the book of this, by the way, which I don't know if I ever told you guys to be in this, but if you ever want to go through those samples in the book and play with them, get with me, and do them, and I can help you with them. I can demo them in class. If there's something you want to see, just let me know. Because there's a lot of good ones in there, and there's a lot of good programs at the end of these chapters that you're welcome to, play with. I don't assign them. The reason is normally all the answer keys are out there on the web. So if I assign you programs just out of the book, well, I'm going to get the same answer put in for everything. So
I did notice that at the end of chapter 3, you kind of didn't touch the J option pane or the GUI.
J option pane. Okay, I'll tell you, I'll come up with a demo of that for next time. That's good. You're right. We didn't cover that this time. So, yeah, we can do that. Normally, I don't cover that in this. I cover it in the advanced class. But yeah, we can do that. So
That's pretty cool. I've messed with it.
it is. You can do all kinds of stuff. I made a couple of years ago. We did a program where they had to make a soda shop. It's a little gooey. You had to put in your. Imagine like you're working at the cash register in a soda shop. I had to select the options.
Right.
And the different toppings cost different amount of money. And no, it was soda and sandwiches. That's what it was. It was a sandwich shop, yeah. And like if you selected jalapenos, you actually made money. Like it was like 25 cents cheaper if you had jalapenos to your sandwich because they're so awesome. So if you got the right toppings, you get a sandwich like hot sauce. Oh man, you get a sandwich for free. The problem is you can put hot sauce in your soda and get it free that way. So I just had some really stupid requirements. I'll see if I can't find that to show it to
Add
you.
it to the soda and put it on the side.
Yeah, so there you go. I like the hot sauce and jalapenos in my soda, but put it on the side. So, all right. I'm going to start with a for loop next time because that's my favorite one. We're going to do a couple different examples with it. But everybody okay on the switch, the while, and the do? So next class period, we're going to finish up chapter 4. So start working on your 4th programs, those of you who are in this class here, because they're going to be due. We're going to start with this. Okay? So we're going to start on 28 next time.